Good morning. My name's Stephen Wright. I'd like to welcome you to the latest Showcase Fab webinar. I'm delighted that we have Tim Burnett from BTL and Natasha Knight, and they're here to look at common challenges faced by modern awarding bodies and how technology can help to underpin the AO process and sound commercial thinking. You can ask questions. If you look on the panel on the right-hand side, if you type a question in there, then at an appropriate point I'll ask the question on your behalf. The sound quality was excellent when we were testing it earlier, but as with the internet, it can go up and down. So do bear with us if the sound quality does dip. And the webinar is being recorded, and also the slides will be available for you as well. We'll send some more details out after the webinar. So I'm now delighted to hand over to Natasha. Good morning, Natasha.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm just briefly going to give you an overview of the agenda. We're going to go through an introduction of Creatio, which is the company that I work for, an intro to BTL, the challenges facing modern AOs, and the solutions that both of our companies are able to provide. Some of the things that we're doing around endpoint assessments, and of course there'll be an opportunity for you all to ask questions. So I'll go straight into it then. So Creatio, who are we? We're an IT solutions company that specialises in providing solutions to the education sector. We were formed in 2008 by 3 ex-regulatory staff, formerly of QCA, the predecessor to Ofqual. In fact, the majority of our staff are all ex-AO, and certainly all of our client-facing staff are ex-AO staff. So we're able to provide consultancy services, not just IT solutions, to our clients. The unique thing about what we offer on the IT side is that our system is a web-based workflow solution, so very different from the other solutions in the market. Creatio Green, the name of our system, actually supports all core AO processes up to the point of assessment and then following assessment. So we don't actually run the assessments, but we actually interface with other platforms such as BTL Surpass to manage the assessments. So we look at qualification development, covering the robust and auditable development of your qualifications. That helps you demonstrate your regulatory compliance, underpinning rather the qualification development procedures and arrangements. Centre management, covering all centre activities and transactions, with the exception of learner registration and certification, which falls under another module. But you can maintain all centre details, initiate processes, respond to requests that are sent through to your organisations. Registration and certification, which falls into a separate module, covers the end-to-end learner registration and certification process. And it's actually done on a form-based approach to cover all centre transactions and workflows. And then governance covers all of the A and B general conditions, containing a number of logs such as risk, conflict of interest, self-evaluation, with the ability to link to records and centres and qualification profiles at any point, so that you get a real-time view of what you're doing in each of those areas. So, I'll click through. Oh, sorry.
Hi everyone, Tim Burnett from BTL here. Okay, so BTL itself has been is a UK-based assessment technology provider. So we've been working in the realm of this for just over kind of 30 years, really, in various different forms. Surpass itself has been on the market since 2008, and has grown really from a few initial customers working in the kind of larger sector to moving from an enterprise solution to more of a SaaS-based solution, which makes it more of an affordable route. We're very much behind the UK AO sector. We're supporting the Federation of Awarding Bodies, And interesting things like 58% of the functional skills which were delivered in the UK were delivered by Surpass customers. So we do have quite a strong marketplace here. 15 million exams have now been delivered on Surpass, which is a fantastic number, but it's not just all about on-screen examinations. We support the paper-based process as well. We've had some increasing amount of investment from abroad, which brings with it new ideas and new techniques which the UK has not been able to explore really. So America, for instance, has been very much a base for on-screen assessment. So by having new American customers coming on board, it helps us a great deal. We also we're very innovative in the way we try to approach things. So this Past Paper Plus is a new offer into the market which enables you to bridge the gap between paper-based examinations and capturing those responses on a computer. So if you're still in that paper world, then you can start to make some broad steps. We have quite a wide range of customers between both BTL and Creatio, some shared, some was working with us individually, from various different markets really, from the professional through to the vocational to the general qualification, all with them bringing new challenges and new ideas. And I think the new ideas is the significant thing to mention, is that every new person that comes on board, we're able to feed into the Surpass community and the Creatio community of technology generation. So it all adds to two very rich products in the market. And we've kind of formed a bit of a relationship in the fact that we both have a very similar approach, ethos, very complementary systems, but working in two kind of distinct areas. We don't wander off into the kind of MIS area, but what we try to do is support that as much as possible through the integrations and the technology that we offer. We work together on joint bids, but by having this kind of partnership, it gives us an opportunity to work with organisations which until now may have thought that Surpass particular was more of a premium-based solution. So our market is widening in that sense. So between us, we kind of offer this kind of flexible scalability model, but giving you peace of mind. So the fact that we've taken the steps into the SaaS world gives a lot of cost savings and development opportunities. We're very agile in the way we bring new technology, new features to the market. Both of us are working towards ISO 27001 accreditation, with Creatio being BSI audited and BTL being certified to 9001 accreditation as well. So two very complementary systems and two complementary cultures really working together. So one of the things we want to talk to you about today is just some of the challenges which we're facing the kind of modern awarding body. We're going to go through, have a look at some of the technology involved in those. So there are some regular disruptions really to the market. We've had some quite interesting requirements in terms of audit trails and processes, and organisations are starting to have to be a bit more robust in the way that they handle data, they feed that data, how they manage it, and reporting up to the regulatory bodies, and an increasing number of regulatory bodies as well. We've also had to look at the way that things such as grading and formal and external assessments have really changed the model of assessment in the awarding sector. And then we've had the new opportunities that come from apprentice reforms with the endpoint assessments and changes impending with the post-16 skills plan. But really these all come down to kind of the ideas of money, regulation, reputation and change. And those are the kind of key themes that we're going to talk about. So I'm just going to touch briefly on the kind of staffing wise. So as we move into this area of on-screen authoring of questions and endpoint assessments, it's going to become quite important that people who have access to platforms creating questions are able to do so when it might not be their regular job. So there might be a subject matter specialist, but they're going to need a nice friendly environment to work on, which structures their workflow, and that's what Surpass really offers as part of that process. So we've got this idea of this person working on Ireland. These people can work quite independently and dip into the product as and when needed. And there's a link on there with these slides that will be distributed later, which gives you an idea of the benefits of on-screen authoring. So if anyone is considering moving into that kind of on-screen authoring world, then they can do that.
Okay, and so to complement that, what the Creatio Green system does is to help our clients around income and ensuring that you're not having to spend as much to support your processes. We generally have less money as AOs, as our centres have less money, and so we underpin your processes to stop the requirement for you to take on more and more staff to actually manage those processes. And we do that by streamlining everything in one place, so it is a kind of one-stop shop system. We also are able to empower your centres. So a lot of the things that you're used to actually doing on your centre's behalf, our system, if you choose to, you can actually give them access to it to actually manage themselves. So it's a workflow system. There's no need for multiple emails. When they complete various forms, for example, if you were going through a centre approval process, there are mandatory fields to reduce errors. We've got evidence of our AOs using our system to cut their SLAs down from 20 days to less than a day for centre approval, so it does improve your SLAs. So what can we do around auditing? Well, our system was originally built for AOs, so it's fundamentally built around ensuring that you can evidence that you comply with all of your regulatory requirements, and it evidences all of your activities. Regulators have actually audited our system on various occasions, and we have examples of clients that have received really positive feedback, and also we know that no one's actually received any negative feedback. We're designed to cover all regulators, and it's so that you can do things in an effortless and streamlined way. So with that evidence, we actually, as I mentioned earlier, we don't actually run assessments through our system, but we actually draw on data from other platforms that can then be held in our system. For example, that screenshot that you see there as an example of us drawing on the BTL Surpass system for that data.
Yeah, so it's kind of data which we gather on the items and the information, and that can be processed within Surpass or passed into other platforms like Creatio for number crunching there. So it's all about connectivity, isn't it?
Yeah. So through to compliance, we can evidence enforcement of your arrangements in an effortless way. So we can provide full visibility to any third-party stakeholders that you choose to provide evidence to, for example, any boards or panels that you have, and our system is fully configurable no matter what AO, what sector you operate in, or what qualification types you offer. Our governance module covers all A and B general conditions, self-assessment and logs, so you can do all of that through our system. One of our AOs actually has over 50 logs and has a range of logs to demonstrate governance to the regulators. Okay, so I'm sure you're all aware that fines have been issued, quite hefty ones, recently around missing SLAs, IT faults and issues, non-compliance. They're becoming more prevalent. We can reduce the risk of this happening to your auditing organisations. None of the clients that we have been fined or sanctioned whilst having our system live.
That's always good to know, isn't it? So just in terms of that kind of reputation, because that really comes off the back of fines, really. If you are being scrutinised in the marketplace, then it's going to have a massive impact on your reputation. But it also comes down to how your assessment technology is received at the centres and the training places where it's delivered. We're very proud of Surpass and its ability to cope with a wide variety of delivery models and requirements, so anything from paper through to tablet, and I don't know if anyone's seen them, these quite cool compute sticks which plug into the back of peripherals like monitors and displays to save you having a desktop. So we're quite proud of our kind of innovative approaches, but also we like to provide portable options, so downloading the examination to a USB stick so it can be taken into locations where devices can't be transmitted, but the exam itself can be, and then the exam can be uploaded at a later date. So if you're in a position where you've got no internet connectivity, then this isn't, SLAS isn't an online-only delivery environment. You can support those kind of rural and disconnected environments as well. And then we've got things such as computer-based projects, so the idea that at the candidate level they can work within a defined examination space and submit responses and evidence and information as part of an examination approach. Then finally, really, we're working and moving into the area of online proctoring, which, although to date with a lot of the high-stakes assessment has had a limited uptake, offers, I think, a lot more of an opportunity when it comes to on-screen examinations potentially for apprentices. Just to mention, really, we've got a tool on our website which helps you kind of identify the best delivery options for you when taking examinations. So by answering a few questions, and you can follow that link at a later date, you're able to pick a delivery approach which is suitable to your kind of organisation. So just touching really on grading really as a kind of point of change, there's been quite some significant changes in that area. And BTL, has supported grading within the platform itself, but then on the centre level, it's wider level, it's more of a Creatio kind of activity. So I don't know if you want to say a few things about grading now.
Yeah, grading. So I think AOs are increasingly finding that their existing IT systems, aged IT systems, are finding it difficult to cope with the changes to qualifications, especially AOs that operate in schools and offer apprenticeships. Systems generally, if they've been around for a while, can't enforce grading rules and easily issue certificates, but our system can. We actually have built a specific grading tool, which means that you can use it to put together your rules, and this will automatically trigger certification in your system, so you don't need to redesign any current CRM systems that you may have. It's flexible enough to support all types of qualification structure. So with that, I'm going to talk about endpoint assessment. We're actually working with about half a dozen EPA bodies at the moment that are going to go live with what we offer for endpoint assessment. It's actually already part of our existing system, so it comes at no extra cost for customers that actually use Creatio Green. Silex, one of our key clients who you'll hear a bit about later on.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of a case study on that.
Yeah, a case study on this. But the thing about our EPA offering is that it's flexible. There's a booking tool that feeds into an allocation search tool for assessors. We can actually, if you choose to, provide employers with access so that they can track the progress of apprenticeships. And we also hold learner evidence, so e-portfolios, for example. So, skills plan, another joyous thing that we're all having to deal with. So a lot of you will be quite nervous about this, particularly smaller AOs. We are able to offer you a system that can be quickly implemented next year to get your track records up and running. We're able to deal with single parties or help with anyone that's wanting to put together a consortium. We also are able to help you with your tender processes. So if anyone is looking to join or put together a consortium, then do get in touch with us, because we do have a number of clients that are interested.
Okay. So skill plan obviously is, it's a major thing. What we do really with Surpass, we hold a conference every year where we get all our customers together, and throughout the year we hold a number of special interest groups as well, and really it's an opportunity for sharing ideas and learning more about the marketplace, and it's this kind of community feel that you get from being customers within the Creatio and Surpass environments. It's probably a good point before we go on to the kind of endpoint assessment case study, Stephen. I don't know if you've got any questions from the audience that you want to pose to us, and then we can move on to looking at SLAS in a bit more detail.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, the only one I have got is about SaaS and what is SaaS. You mentioned it earlier on, I think.
Okay, so yeah, sorry, yeah, it's an old habit that we kind of slip into there. So software as a service is SaaS. So effectively, from gone are the days of receiving a CD through the post that you install on a server that you have to manage and run within your building. SaaS is effectively a hosted service of software. So it's you know, the next generation really of websites. So with the Surpass platform, with the Creatio one as well, you know, everything operates within this online environment. You log in, you access your information, your data. You can access it anywhere. Sometimes there are locally installable tools which may support and aid that process, but generally the majority of it will remain in this kind of SaaS environment, this online environment. It's the way that technology has changed. When you look at things like Trello and MailChimp and all these kind of cool apps that are coming out, what's good about them is by having them in the online environment, by having these kind of connected environments, you're able to share and integrate data. And I think any organisation really looking at new software now needs to be asking the questions about, is it SaaS? Does it have RESTful integration API? So does the back end talk to other systems in a particular way? And those are really things that you should be asking about modern software. Is there any further questions, Steve?
Not at this stage, thanks, Tim.
Okie dokie. What we'll do is I'll have a quick look at SILEX. So SILEX, or the Chartered Institute of Legal Executives, as it's maybe more commonly known, is an awarding body which kind of came to both of us really as a solution provider. They've been working in the kind of field for kind of last 25 years and delivered over 100,000 legal career kind of guidance for people moving into the legal world. They really specialise in the idea of earn as you learn kind of approach. So by being embedded in an organisation and working within that environment as part of your training, and that's essential really, I think, and very apt when we're talking about the whole kind of apprentice model. They've gone down the route of becoming an approved assessment organisation. They recognise that EPAs have a big opportunity to really to provide their skills and knowledge and training within their kind of field. There's an opportunity to expand their business growth. I think at the moment, if you're not looking to expand, then you've got to ask some kind of big questions about where your organisation really is going, and trying to pick up those kind of areas. And really, the fact that they can meet the needs of their customers by offering this particular service in this kind of niche area. So they've recently selected both BTL and Creatio's software for their candidate qualification, apprenticeship and test delivery. And really, we've been selected really on the fact that we do have one of the best of breed technology solutions out there. Vicky did a really good presentation at our Surpass conference recently, and we'll distribute the link later, but she talked about the why she selected Surpass as the solution for a particular organisation. One of the things that kind of stuck out as part of her presentation was the idea that when you're buying a house and you have a table already, you don't necessarily think, I've got to take that table and I'm going to pick the house based on that table fitting in it. Sometimes you do have to make some compromises, sometimes you do have to make some tough choices, but by picking Surpass, and Creatio, she felt as though that she was able to meet the majority of the requirements and could work with us to make adjustments where necessary. Based on the fact that we've also had an extensive knowledge and experience working in this sector, I think both it's fair to say, as in Natasha, that we've, both BTL and Creatio have built up a wealth of knowledge when we've been working through this. And I think referring back to what you said earlier about most of your staff coming from the AO sector, I think it really helps with the with this particular subject.
Yeah.
So when talking about integrated technology, the fact that we can between the two systems approve and manage centres, it makes it better for onboarding candidates as part of the process, and the fact that you're using two systems that talk to each other for scheduling of candidates and sharing of information is a massive time saver really. Other areas of kind of particular interest, the fact that gathering of portfolio evidence is something that it's very useful, whether that's part of the computer-based projects approach within Surpass, or whether it's part of the wider evidence capturing process within the Creatio platform. But really, they're both around the fact that we can deliver high-stakes assessments and the data is flowing through to both organisations. We're actually holding an EPA for Surpass customers, sorry, a special interest group meeting for people interested in EPA. The date is going to be distributed to everyone, but that's going to be on Wednesday the 25th of January in Bradford, and that's for Surpass customers and anyone who's kind of very interested in this area. And really, what we try to do with these special interest groups is it's a massive opportunity for a group of like-minded people to come together, share ideas in a collaborative space. And it helps us make sure that the technology solutions and services that we provide are appropriate for those. And yeah, that's fundamental. I think when Natasha and the team came along to this past conference this year, I think you saw the kind of ideas that have been shared around. I know we had a particular group on functional skills, and it was a very successful area. Yeah. So really, I suppose that's our kind of insight into Silex and their motives for moving into the EPA space. Is there any questions about Silex? That obviously we won't be able to answer them all, but if there's any questions about our platform and technology, we're more than happy to take those.
Not just yet. I don't know if anybody, if you do have any questions to ask, the tab on the right-hand side is the way to go. So.
By the way, guys, don't be shy.
If there's anyone that actually wants to speak to us on an individual basis rather than send through a question, then please do get in touch as well with your contact details.
Yeah, I think it's go on, Stephen.
No, I was going to say, I'm sure one of the questions would be, what is the structure of engaging with you? Do you do it on a license basis? How would I know that would be the question that would be in the back of my mind if I was thinking about it.
Okay, so it's a good question. It's an interesting question. Yes, licensing-based models are the kind of typical route. I could talk about Surpass in terms of that model. We generally work on a kind of per test fee basis, but really it's been fundamental to the way we've worked. Is we've sat down with people that come along to speak to us to BTL and really try to unpick how we can both work together. Obviously, if the economics of the situation aren't going to be helpful to either of us, then we'll be honest about that. But we always do try our best to find the best kind of business model which would help and promote services. I'm sure the same with Creatio.
Yeah, I mean, we don't actually we don't offer our system on a license basis. Once you've got it, you can have as many users as you wish. Obviously, depending on the size of your organisation and the number of learners that you and learner data that goes through the system, if it's higher, then it increases the cost slightly. But again, as BTL do, it's something that we would sit down with you and discuss and find something that was suitable for you, which is partly why we offer our services on a modular basis, so that you can actually pick which areas you want and actually add or remove things as your organisational needs change.
Yeah, I think when organisations come on as well, we do try best to kind of provide a position where you can trial and have a look at the software to see if it does kind of meet your needs. But one thing I have to say about the moving to the whole kind of SaaS approach, gone are the days of, we sort of talked about kind of enterprise approaches where it would take time to set up individual hosting arrangements and special service for customers. We deploy very quickly to the online environment. The environment which we use is what we call a private cloud, so customer data is kept separate. There's no opportunity for cross-pollination of data, and you can be up quite quick and easy up and running. I think what's interesting with Silex, one of the approaches they've taken due to the flexibility of the platforms is to go down the route of a kind of fixed form assessment basis. So obviously when you're setting up on-screen assessments, you can create up banks of hundreds and thousands of items if you want to deliver them dynamically. But Silex have elected to kind of choose having fixed forms where the candidate can only take one form at a time, and each of those forms will have different questions, and that's quite a good way of helping you to reduce the number of items you have to set up in the initial early stages, and you retain that security of visibility of those items. So as the candidates move from Form A to Form B to Form C, etc., they won't see repeated items, but you can also layer in some really quite interesting randomization features within there. So even within the test itself, the items as they're delivered are mixed up, and the answer options, particularly if using multiple choice, can be randomized as well. So there's lots of flexibility to kind of get you up and running quite quickly. You don't need to go live with a massive test bank and a big customer base, really. I don't know if there's any other questions or thoughts that spring to mind, Stephen?
No, I think that's it. I think we've come to the end of the presentation, I believe. Yes, Tim?
Yeah, I think we're
brilliant.
I think really it's an opportunity. If there are any other questions that people have, Natasha and myself's details are on there, and Stephen, I believe you're going to distribute those as well.
Yeah.
So please do get in touch if you want to find any more about the platforms. We've not done a demo of the technologies really today, because that tends to take quite a lot of time. So we're more than happy to have a personal conversation with you about that. Really.
Yeah, and we can come out to your site and actually give you a face-to-face demonstration completely free of charge and with no commitment at all. So do get in touch if you would like to arrange for that to happen.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. On behalf of FAB, I'd like to thank Tim and Natasha for an excellent presentation. As Tim was saying there, that we are recording this. The recording will be available later this week. Just like to draw your attention to some of the up-and-coming webinars. Actually, the first one is a postponement. That was the one on the 25th of November, where SFA were going to do an update on the activities. I think they're in. They've got an awful lot going on at the moment. They just felt there was very little they could say at this point, so we're postponing that until a point where they actually have got a bit more information that they can discuss. 29th of November, we're looking at the legal implications of the post-16 skills plan. On the 7th of December, DFE are going to do a webinar on Section 96 process and timescales. And then again on the Friday, we have DFE again looking at the post-16 skills plan, and that'll probably be with Warwick. The 11th of January, we've got a guide to SEER regulation in Northern Ireland. You'll be aware that that has recently changed earlier this year, and they've taken much more control of the regulation in Northern Ireland, which will kick in 2017. On the 18th of Jan, we've got quite an interesting one, which was a survey of benefits and what our awarding organisation staff paid. So if you'd like to log in on the 18th of Jan, and you can watch that. And sorry, I've got just a few compliments have just come through rather than questions. Thank you for an excellent, informative and well-presented webinar. So thank you, Tim and Natasha. Full details, links to the registration are on the website. They'll be in your weekly FAB update. And I'd like to close by thanking Tim. I'd like to thank Natasha. I'd like to thank yourselves for logging in. And I look forward to you all joining me at one of our future webinars. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you very much.